Hello and welcome to the 2014 Effie Entry webinar. My name is Steph Jones and I'm a manager at Effie Worldwide. I'm your main contact for any entry questions for the North American and shopper marketing competitions. So if you have any questions throughout the entry process, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be listed at the end of this webinar. Effie has competitions all over the world, including both national and regional competitions. You can see a quick snapshot of some of our national award programs here. If you go to effie.org, you'll be able to find the links to all of our partner pages so that if you're interested in entering one of these competitions, you'll be redirected to one of those competition sites that will show you all of the entry information. But today we'll be focusing on Effie North America. So within the North American Effie competition, there are over 60 categories, including several specialty categories like brand experience, health, media, and different business challenges. And there's also a special marketing competition, which is the Shopper Marketing Effie competition. We find that the strongest cases tend to be when team members are involved on both the client and agency side. Additionally, if you have contributing companies that also worked on the case that you'll be crediting, we suggest that you reach out to them and see if they have any relevant data or information that would enhance your entry. The North American and shopper marketing competitions follow the same deadlines and fees this year. As you can see, the entry fee increases as each deadline passes, and this year's deadlines range from October 8th through October 30th. Judges are not aware of which deadline you enter. If you plan to enter the Good Works nonprofit category, there is a flat fee of $425 per entry, and that's through October 30th, which is the last entry deadline for our standard categories. We also offer a new entrant discount for entrants who have not submitted into the last 3 competitions, which would be 2011, 2012, or 2013. If you think you may be eligible for this, you should email Nikki Tate, and her information is listed here and will also again be available at the end of the webinar. There's no discount code for you to enter. An Effie admin has to manually administer this discount on each entry that you're submitting. So you will need to have your entry started in the online entry area and have your entry ID available for her in order for her to enable that discount. And additionally, we do run the Global Effie competition out of our office here. And those deadlines will begin in mid-November, and there's a separate deadline and fee structure for that competition, and entry materials will be posted in mid-October for that competition. Here you can see an idea of what our judging schedule is and when you can expect to hear about the status of your case. Round 1 judging ends in mid-January, so you'll be receiving your finalist notification in late January. Everyone receives an email whether or not your case is a finalist, and that email will be going to the person listed on the credits tab of the online entry area as the main contact for the lead agency. Finalists are reviewed in final round judging in February, and some of our specialty categories will have their final round judging events conducted through early March. Then finalists will learn if they're a winner by early April, and it's important to note that not all finalists become winners, but finalists do also receive points towards the Effie Effectiveness Index, and you'll also be featured on our website. Award levels are not announced until the Effie Awards Gala. The Shopper Marketing Awards will be held on March 25th at the Path to Purchase Institute's annual Shopper Summit, and the Standard North American Effie Awards ceremony will be on Thursday, June 5th, 2014 in New York. Now we've come to eligibility. Any and all forms of consumer engagement and marketing communications are eligible. You can use any combination of mediums. There's no restrictions on how many different types you must use. It can be any one or a combination. Your case must have run between September 1st, 2012 and August 31st of 2013. It's okay for your case to have started running before September 1st or for it to continue on after August 31st. However, the work that you present must have run at some point during this period, and the results that the judges are evaluating are from within this time period. You cannot include any results in your case from after August 31st of this year. The only exception would be the seasonal and event categories in the shopper marketing competitions. These have an extended eligibility period through the end of September of 2013, and that's to allow for the summer seasonal and back-to-school cases to include those relevant results. And they do have a slightly adjusted deadline schedule, so just be sure to check out the shopper marketing entry kit if you're submitting into that category. Last year, there was a rule change. Entrants may now only submit an effort into one product and service category, but they may also enter that same work into multiple specialty categories. Shopper marketing entrants can enter their work into a maximum of 2 shopper categories. If you'd like to enter your work into both competitions, that's fine. You just need to make sure you follow the rules within each competition, use the correct entry form for each, and also make sure you use the specific online entry area for each of the different competitions to submit your case. New product and service categories are required to enter the new product and service category in both competitions. They are also allowed to enter the specialty categories within North America. If you won a silver or bronze Effie last year, you can re-enter that same work into the same category or any other this year. However, if you won a gold Effie last year, you need to wait until next year in order to submit into that same category, but you could enter other categories. There are a couple of other restrictions with gold sustained success and global winners, needing to wait 3 years to re-enter, and David vs. Goliath winners of any award level cannot re-enter that same category the following year. Again, this must be the work must have been work that was currently running within this year's eligibility period, and the results must be updated to reflect this eligibility period, but it is fine to re-enter that work. So we'll take a look now at the categories in this year's competition. Again, we have a large number of categories, and here's a brief glimpse at some of the product and service categories. And you can find a full listing in our entry kit and online on our website. There were a few revisions to category names and category definitions, so you'll want to check that out to see if there are any changes to your category. We also have a number of specialty categories, including the Business Challenge categories, Specialty Audience, Media Awards, and some other categories that you can see here. Again, the full list is available online and in the entry kit. It's important to note that the Sustained Success, Shopper Marketing, and Global Effie entries require the use of a special entry form. And some of our specialty audience categories do require the addition of a creative viewing guide as the last page on the entry form. We have 5 new categories for this year's North American Effie competition. If your work targeted other businesses, you can enter B2B. You're also free to enter any product and service categories or other specialty categories, but in order to enhance our learning of B2B cases, we've added this category. Engaged community is about branding effective, engaged communities that do something beyond liking a brand. Personal care products were previously entered in either beauty or OTC, but these products can now be entered into their own personal care category. Our yearly topical category of this year is branded utility, which will honor marketers who create a product or service in response to a marketing or business challenge. And this product or service is not being sold, but it's a part of the marketing program itself. And finally, our children's products and services category has evolved into the youth marketing category. Our shopper marketing competition, again in partnership with the Path to Purchase Institute, this year's categories were slightly restructured and they now include 11 categories. We've introduced a few new categories, including the seasonal events categories on both the manufacturer and retailer side. These awards, as I mentioned earlier, will be awarded at the Path to Purchase Institute's Shopper Summit in March 2014, and they'll also be honored at the North American Effie Awards Gala. We'll go through a quick rundown of the judging process. Effie aims to have a mix of new and veteran judges. We like to have judges on both the agency and the client side and across all disciplines. You can see a breakdown here of the 4 scoring sections of the Effie entry. Your creative reel is a part of the Bringing the Idea to Life section. You can see that the Strategic Communications Challenge and Objectives, Idea, and Bringing the Idea to Life are all weighted as 23.3% of your total score, while the results are weighted most heavily at 30%. Scoring is done anonymously and confidentially, and judges may not remove case studies from the judging room. Round 1 judging takes place in cities across North America. Last year we went to 9 cities in the U.S. and Canada. We're currently still finalizing the cities that we'll be going to this year. And each judge in round 1 is judging a variety of cases across an assortment of categories without comparison to other cases in that category. Because judges are reviewing between 10 and 15 cases in a judging session, it's very important to keep your entry as clear and concise as possible. Finalists are judged within their category during the final round of judging. One group of judges will judge, for instance, all of the finalists in the travel category. So judges will discuss all of the finalists before submitting their scores, but the scoring is done anonymously by each judge. We have specialty judging sessions for some of our categories, including these categories listed here: brand experience, global, good works, health, media, shopper, and single impact engagement. And the Grand Effie Award is the best in show. It's the highest scored case of the year. The grand contenders are chosen based on their scores in the final round, and the top scoring gold winners are considered. The Grand Effie judges meet on the day of the North American Effie Awards Gala and determine the winner. They all come to an agreement on who the best of the year will be. And the 2013 Grand Effie winner came from Call of Duty and Activision Blizzard and 72andSunny for their Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 effort. In each round of judging, judges are required to answer questions about each case that they review. At time of entry, you're given the option to purchase an insight guide, which will allow you to receive this feedback after all judging is complete. This is only going to be available for purchase at time of entry, so it's very important you discuss with your team this possibility before clicking submit. The cost this year is $250, and this report will help you understand why your case fared the way it did and how to improve future entries. And judges give feedback not only about the presentation of the case itself, but also about the work. The Effie entry form, one of Effie's big insights is that you cannot write your way into an Effie, but you can certainly write your way out of one. So here we'll go through some of the basics of crafting an effective entry. When presenting your communications efforts, it's important for you to communicate your case effectively here, just like you did in your creative work. Feel free to use a little bit of personality when telling your story. Judges are reading a number of cases in each judging session, so they really appreciate when it's easy to understand what's going on and they don't need to go digging and racking their brains to try to understand your case. Graphs, charts, and other readability tools like bullets, white space, bolding, these all help judges understand your points very easily. You also want to make sure that each part of your entry links together and reads like you're telling a cohesive story. So here you can see each part of the entry should all connect to one and lead from one section to the next. Over and over again, judges complain that context is missing from entries. Entries who win typically do provide comparison to what else is going on in the industry, what the competitors are doing, and why their objectives are so significant and why the results are so significant. It allows the judges to understand why your objectives were set the way they were, and because judges may not be too familiar with your particular industry, so they may not know that a 5% increase is actually a very large goal for your industry. They may think that that's pretty small. Because we see the judges making the same complaints year over year, we're trying to share some of these direct judge quotes. Consistently, they want entrants to provide clear, honest goals and restate those in the results section. Honesty is important. The judges are your peers and senior leaders in the industry, so they know when something isn't sounding right. If you omit something, particularly to one of the questions in the detailed section of each question, they typically assume there's a negative reason for why you didn't include an answer to that question. So be sure to thoroughly review all of the detailed instructions underneath each question on the entry form. Be straightforward and to the point and only include relevant information. You want your case to stand out and not get lost in the mix, even if your case is at the end of their judging queue. One thing that we really encourage entrants to do is to have a strong writer or editor review your case and check for any typos, spelling errors, grammatical errors, math errors. Judges, when they're seeing so many cases and they see small mistakes like this, it does tend to irritate them. In the Strategic Communications Challenge and Objective section, providing context for your challenge is very important. As I mentioned earlier, judges may not work in this category and they won't know if your objectives sound significant. This year we've adjusted the questions on the entry form a little bit to help guide you to provide this information. And judges are also looking to see why your target is the right one for this challenge, what tools you set up to measure your success, and for you to outline the business problem that your effort was meant to address. This section really sets the stage for the rest of your case. If this section is weak, it tends to weaken the entire case. And this was one of the lowest scoring sections across the board in 2013 entries. In order to help improve on that, we suggest that you provide a basis for why your goals are set at that level. And as you can see here from these judge quotes, providing context is important, making sure your goals and objectives are clear and make sense to the judge. The idea section asks entrants to explain the insight behind the case, explain the research that was done to lead to your insights, and we ask that the core idea be stated in one sentence, no exceptions. If you submit longer than one sentence as the answer to that question, you will be contacted and asked to revise your answer there. Judges have stated time and time again that if you can't state the idea in one sentence, then you really don't have an idea. Here are some additional judge comments about the idea, and again, insight is key. Your big idea should not be your tagline, but it should really be the core strategic idea that led to your results. Bringing the idea to life. Too often, entrants do not explain why they chose the media channels that they did. Be clear about your communication strategy and how your insight led to those channel choices. Be sure you explain any other marketing components that were active during this time, and address any learnings that and obstacles that you encountered during the time your case was running, and how did you respond and optimize. As you can see here, the judges feel it's very important to explain why you chose those channels. Why did they work with your target? Why did they work with your strategy? In your creative reel, we frequently hear judges tell us that they wish that they could have seen more of the work in the video. You don't want to get too caught up in retelling the same written case that the judges just read. They do read the written case before watching the creative reel, so it's important that the reel and the text work together to use the different features of the video and the written case to really enhance your story and bring your idea to life. You will be able to go to our Effie YouTube channel and you can check out some past winning case studies to see, for an example, what other winners have done. In the results section, judges are asking you to tie your results directly back to the objectives. It seems to work out best if you restate your objectives in the results section. Of course, you may want to elaborate in the objective section about your objectives, but here, just a quick line reminding judges about each objective, and then go through the results relating to that objective. If you have any additional results that you'd like to share, go ahead and do so, but be sure you address all of those specific objectives that you listed earlier in your entry. If you set up an objective and don't discuss it in the results, judges will certainly question that. And again, providing category context is important here as well. Judges need to understand why your results are significant and what they did for the brand. We suggest thinking of your case as an argument that you need to prove. So you need to prove your case here, eliminate any other factors that the judges may think might have contributed to your success. Sourcing your data is very important, not just in the results section, but throughout the entire entry form. But it is particularly important here as judges are told to disregard any data that does not have a source. There's no particular style that we require you to source your data, but you should include the source, the research involved, and the time period covered. You may not include any agency names in your sourcing, as Effie is an agency-blind competition, and this includes not just your own agency as the entering agency, but any other agencies as well, as Judges will likely think that that other agency name was the entering agency and will flag your case for DQ. Effie will not actually disqualify your case if another agency's name is listed there. However, you don't want judges questioning if your case is a DQ-worthy case, so we advise not to include it at all. You can simply refer to any agency research as agency research or third-party agency research, but still include other information such as the research involved in the time period covered. Effie does reserve the right to verify all sources, and you may not include results after August 31st of 2013. Here are some of the judge quotes from last year. Again, it's important to clearly refer to your objectives when providing your results. Be sure to address every single one of your objectives and KPIs as you outlined in your entry. Provide context. Make sure your objectives and results are believable. Retrofitting your objectives to match the results is one of the most common judge complaints. If your objective is to increase by 13.4% and you just happen to increase by 13.4%, judges will likely question the validity of that. So please be honest when presenting your objectives and results. Continuing on with honesty, judges value honesty and a clear explanation of what your situation actually was. Explain the scale of couponing, price cuts, etc. It helps judges to understand what was going on in the marketplace. As you know, the judges are your peers and experts in the industry, so they can often easily tell when you omit something in your case. The online entry area for the North American Effie Awards competition is now available. We suggest that you start your entry as soon as possible. There are additional questions that are asked in the online entry area that are not asked on the written entry form, so you want to make sure you give yourself enough time to explore the online entry area and gather that information before the deadline date. We've seen a number of entrants only start their entry on the deadline date and then realize all these other questions are there, and then they miss the deadline because they were unable to gather the information. One area that we really suggest sharing with your team is the credits tab of the online entry area. This is where you will submit your company and individual credits. You can credit a maximum of 6 companies, and that can include 2 lead agencies if there is a co-lead partnership of agencies on the case. Then you can also include a maximum of 10 individuals. This time there is a hard cut at 10 individuals, so you may not include multiple people on one line. If you are a winner, you would be able to order additional certificates for other individuals not listed on those credits, but for spacing reasons, you can only credit 10 individuals. It's important that you share these company credits with your PR or corporate departments, and as well as sharing that information with your contributing agencies so that they are credited properly. Any sort of differences in spelling, spacing, capitalization, it can all affect how your company is credited in the Effie Effectiveness Index, which ranks marketers and agencies worldwide for their effectiveness. So please be sure you check in with your teams and your other agency offices around the country to make sure you guys are all submitting your company name properly. There is a fee to change credits after time of entry starting on March 15th of 2014. You cannot remove or replace credits at any time, so it's very important that you check that you're using your spaces wisely at time of entry. We know that some entrants may be including some confidential information in their entry. You have the opportunity to select publication permission settings for your written brief when you are submitting your case in the online entry area. You can choose to allow Effie to publish your case as is if you're a finalist or winner. You can tell us that we can publish an edited version, in which case you would be contacted at time of finalist notification about providing an edited version of your entry form for publication. And you can also say that no, Effie cannot publish the case ever. However, the creative materials do become property of Effie and will be posted on Effie.org in case you are a finalist or a winner and may be used for other publicity purposes. There are no results allowed on the creative reel, and the work presented is work that should have run in the marketplace, so typically there are no issues with this. As I mentioned in the judging session, all judges sign confidentiality agreements and cannot remove any of the case studies from the judging room. Additionally, you may index data in your results or provide them as percentage changes. That's all fine. And if you have any other questions regarding confidentiality, you can see some additional information in our entry kit, or feel free to reach out to Effie and we can help you with any concerns that you have. We'll take you through briefly some of the requirements for your creative assets. Your creative reel, again, should not be retelling your written case. It should be used to show how you actually brought the idea to life and show how the work ran in the marketplace. The reel needs to have at least one example of each integral communications touch point that you talk about in your written entry as one of the most important elements that led to your results. You may only edit down video clips that are longer than 90 seconds, and this is because judges are looking to see how your work ran in the marketplace, so if something is edited, they're not getting the full experience. If you'd like to provide additional examples beyond one example of each integral communications touchpoint, we definitely welcome that, and judges are looking to see more of the work than more storytelling behind your case. You may use editing features like voiceover and text to better explain your work. However, you do need to include the rights to everything you use, so if you have any stock images or music, be sure you have the rights there. Do not include any agency names or logos in your entry. And competitive work should also not be shown. This is for the judges to view your work, not for them to focus on your competitors. You cannot include any results in the creative reel. And we know a lot of entrants want to give some sort of closure to the creative reel. So we are allowing you to provide some sort of statement of closure that vaguely references the results. Something like the brand had won their best years yet, sales skyrocketed, and the brand was doing better than ever. You cannot include anything that's hard numbers, anything that was really noted in your results section of your written entry form. So you cannot say that sales increased by X percentage. You can't say you became #1, you beat out the top producer in your category. You should not show the actual number of Facebook likes, Twitter followers, anything like that. If you want to simulate in your reel that numbers were increasing, sure, you can see a scroll of numbers, but it should not land on what your numbers actually became, because that would be showing a result. In the entry kit, there's a little bit of an expanded version of this chart, so feel free to look at that for more examples. If something you feel is in the gray area, we advise you not to include it. Again, judges, when they see something that they think is a possible DQ issue, they'll think about that, and you want them to only be thinking positive things about your case. These are some of the technical requirements of the creative reel, and there are more of these tech aspects available in the entry kit. If your uploaded creative reel doesn't meet these quality standards, if your case is a finalist, you may be asked to submit a DVD of higher quality. Additionally, there are a few images that you will need to upload with your submission. Your case image should best represent the essence of your case for publication use. This will be shown online in any publicity and printed in the Effie Winter's Journal. We ask that this case image is high-res so that it will be produced in quality in print. And examples of your work should also be uploaded for use in Round 1 judging. In Round 1, judges are watching your creative reel on a personal laptop. So if there's anything like a magazine ad with small text or a website that you'd like judges to be able to see as a still image, so it will be easier for them to see than it was in the creative reel, then you can upload that here. Whatever you upload must have been shown at some point during your creative reel as well. If you don't feel like you have anything that needs to be uploaded for judges to see as your still image, just upload your case image in this files for judging section just to meet the upload requirement in that section. Additionally, we do ask for a couple of items for publicity purposes. We request 1 to 2 team photos and company logos for all lead agencies and clients. If you look at our Facebook page, you can see some of the past winning team photos. Feel free to have fun with your team photos. The people in the photo aren't limited just to the individuals credited on your submission. It can be all people involved in the case. If you don't have a team photo to include at time of entry, you can make a note to yourself that you should submit one if you are a finalist. Effie will not be reaching out to individuals asking them for their team photos, so this will be something on you that you need to remember to do. And if you look in the entry kit, there is a link to find a team photo filler image that we ask that you use so that Effie knows that that is not actually an image you'd like used for publicity purposes. If you are a finalist, you're given the option to mail hard copies of creative materials for final round judging. So in final round, judges are watching your creative reel on a central screen in the center of a room. So there may be additional images that you'd like judges to see as a still image. So you will be able to mail in hard copies of these items, and these are items that, again, must have been shown in the creative reel, but this is just an opportunity to show that those materials that have small print that the judges will not be able to read when they watch it on a central screen. We will supply additional information regarding this opportunity at time of finalist notification, but we do notify all entrants of this opportunity so that you can set aside materials now. There will be a very quick turnaround time to get these materials in, but it's about 50-50 for entrants who do submit hard copies. It will only enhance your entry if there are actually materials that judges need to see as a still image. Screenshots of video content really is not going to do that. Here are some final words of wisdom in getting your entry to be the best that it can. Some Effie do's: be direct and concise, provide context, review the reasons for DQ and formatting requirements. This is especially important when you're submitting your entry. Source all data and results, review the case for typos, inconsistencies, etc. And if you're entering in one of our specialty audience categories, be sure you really take advantage of the creative viewing guide to outline the nuances done to reach your specific audience. Some don'ts here. Do not retrofit your objectives to match your results. Be sure to explain any unfamiliar terms. As I've mentioned, that judges may not be familiar with your particular category, so if you're using terms without any explanation, they won't fully understand what you're trying to explain. You may not remove any questions from the entry form. You may not remove the detailed instructions underneath each question or any charts. If you don't have And if an answer is not applicable to you, just simply write not applicable as your answer to that question. Effie is agency blind, so you cannot include your agency name anywhere in the entry form or in files for judging, including a creative reel and still images. Again, not just your agency, but all agencies. And we also ask that you don't use the agency name in any file names or captions when submitting your materials in the online entry area. Some suggestions for you. Have someone who hasn't worked on your case review your work and judge it. Ask them where it falls down in interest, brevity, and clarity. What questions do they have after reading it? Try to have them poke holes in your argument and then go back and address all of those issues that they have pointed out. We do have mock judging instructions available, whether or not you'd like to use those or just so you can get a better idea of what the instructions that the judges receive to help you understand how they're scoring your case. Feel free to reach out to us and we can give you a copy of those. We also suggest reaching out to past judges at your company for guidance. They've been through the process and they know how judges feel when they're reviewing cases, so they may be able to give you some good advice. And in addition to judges, we also recommend making sure you have senior members of your team review your case. Make sure that that passion and all that background information that maybe not everyone has is included in your case. And additionally, we suggest that you read some past winning cases in the Effie case study database. And that is on our website if you go to effie.org and click case studies. And additionally, in the entry kit area of the both North American and shopper marketing competition, you will see links for free sample case studies of a couple of the past winners from the past few years, because our case studies are now under a subscription model, so we do have some cases available for free for you to review. In case you are interested in looking at additional past winners, here are some of the top scoring cases from 2012 and 2013. And some resources here for you, the case studies link, and then also where you can find North American entry materials and resources and the shopper marketing entry materials and resources. And those same materials listed on North America are available for shopper. And here are some contact information. I am the main contact for any entry requirements, eligibility questions. If you have problems or questions in the online entry area, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any payment questions, please reach out to Ashley Howard, and her information is here. If you have any interest in judging, would like to see some judging instructions, feel free to reach out to Nikki Tate here, and she'll be able to help you out with those. And thank you for joining us for the 2014 Effie Entry webinar, and best of luck in this year's competition.